Well, it could, because people could say, this is my last chance. But it sounded to me, from the clip you just played, that the president at this point is using the threat to close the border for political leverage with Mexico to get them to stop the flow of people to the north, and political leverage with Congress to get them to pass some legislation to get purchase on a problem that is still out of control. The president is now heading into the election season. Democrats are declaring their intention to run almost every day. One of the main things he hasn't delivered on is getting control of the immigration problem. So I think, given that we're seeing this huge surge over the last few weeks, he's feeling a lot of political heat to do something.
What sort of example or lesson is there from what happened with Europe, which saw large-scale migration over the last couple of years in a way that they're still grappling with? Does that experience have anything to teach the U.S. at this juncture?
Well, I think the Europeans got real in the sense that they cut a deal with Turkey and then they cut a deal with Libya to stop the flow, because they knew that if they didn't, the political repercussions would be terrible. The populists would take over Europe. The U.S., to some extent, already played hardball on some immigration issues, but the southern border has remained porous. Mr. Trump is right that we don't have a working, good immigration policy. The problem is his fixes: building a border wall, closing the door to trade, which will have a huge hit on the American economy. That's not the solution. The solution is to get Congress to sit back and come up with a soup-to-nuts immigration bill. That hasn't happened for decades. We'll see whether this is the moment when they can actually pull it off.
Getting to your expertise, Charles, that would be NATO. President Trump seemed to be playing good cop, bad cop in singling Germany out, saying he has a great relationship with Angela Merkel, respects her tremendously as a leader, but Germany simply does not pay enough towards defense. And so is this going to work at this point, especially at this point in time with Brexit happening and with the downturn in the European economies?
Well, listen, for those of us who are supporters of the Atlantic Alliance, and I count myself in those ranks, we're all breathing a sigh of relief, because it was a good meeting and he said good things about NATO. And I think what's happening here is that the president is claiming victory. He has put pressure on European allies to spend more. They're doing it, and he is going to back away from insulting allies and talking about pulling out of NATO. That's good news. The bad news is that the Germans are still coming in low. They originally said 1.5% of GDP. Now they're not even going to meet that. I think Trump was pretty gracious. He didn't go after the Germans on this front, but we still have a lot of work to do in getting Germany to spend more and do more, because Germany is, after all, the largest economy in Europe. If they increase their defense spending, it'll have a big impact. But overall, I would say this was a good day for NATO, and the president seems to have backed off being a bully when it comes to the Atlantic Alliance.